Jets at Steelers, AFC Championship game. This is my best bet. And, Marco, I got to tell you, you're Mr. Pittsburgh with the numbers, but man, oh, man, do I got to beat on this Steeler team. And let me tell you right off, I'm shocked at this line. I thought that we were talking, well, let's think about it. They played a few weeks ago. All right, Heath Miller out. Troy out. And that game opened up, and again, it opened up before the Troy being out. So let's forget Troy for a second. It opened up 6. Now, at that time, it was well known that Pittsburgh only had to win 2 of their last 3 games to control their destiny. They had Jets at home, Carolina at home, and the Browns on the road. Though clearly they didn't want to lose the game. The Jets were in danger of not making the playoffs at this point. It was a must-win borderline for the Jets. Pittsburgh, less than that. All right, before Troy was out, and with Heath Miller out, this was a 6-point line. All right, now, Troy was assumed to be healthy at that line. He's healthy now. Heath Miller's back, pro-Pittsburgh. And now you got the Jets with the right guard out. I don't remember his name, out for the season with an Achilles, which he played a couple weeks ago. And you've got Brad Smith, who didn't play. Is it Brad Smith? Mm-hmm. Didn't play last week and was the difference in the game as a kick returner and in the Wildcat, which they couldn't even run against the Patriots. And they're saying he's questionable for this game. And from what I'm reading, it seems like he's not going to play. So how in the heck is this game 3?
Well,
or 3.5?
That's, definitely that's a major question. And, me being a contrarian, I would start to say, be careful, this might be a trap game because of the line does look low. I can make a case in this game for both sides, and I've got some very pertinent points.
Well, make the Jets case first, because I don't see it.
Well, the Jets, one thing I can tell you about them, there's only 2 teams this year that have run for over 100 yards against the Steeler defense. And the Jets are one of those 2 teams.
You watched the game, right?
Yeah.
Were you impressed with the Jets' offense? I mean, it's easy to look. That's the thing. The box score is a certain level. Watching the game is the next level. They ran for 106 yards. And watching that game, I mean, there's a 12-yard bootleg on a 4th down. They did not run the ball particularly well. Better than average? Yeah, Pittsburgh averages 63 yards a game or whatever. But are you really looking at the Jets to run the ball in this game?
They're not going to beat the Steelers running the ball.
All right,
no.
So next.
The other thing is history of the Jets and the Steelers. These teams have played 3 times since 2005.
Okay.
2 3-point games and a 5-point game. The difference in these games. They play the Steelers tight.
Hold on. Go, producer Dustin, go head to head. What could possibly a game in 2005, when you have 3 games in a half a decade between teams, how can that affect this handicap in any way?
Just giving you the history. They've played.
But what does it mean?
They play the Steelers tight.
3 times in 5 years?
They only played 3 times, but the fact is all 3 were tight games.
I mean, clearly Fast Willie Parker was it Ken O'Brien quarterback in the Jets?
No, it wasn't. But let me say this: if the Steelers,
you really don't have, blew, is that the best you got on the Jets?
Well,
let me make the case for the Jets for you a little bit better.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is a team that was a Super Bowl contender coming in the year. Mm-hmm. And this is a team that, for whatever reason, and let's be honest, when it comes to the inner workings of a team, the foot fetish videos, the psychology, I don't know what
all the things, that's the one you brought
I don't know
up,
what the heck's going on. There's a lot of crazy, Santonio Holmes coming back. Whatever it is this team had its ups and downs during the year. But you can make the case that performance against the Patriots and then going on the road to the Colts is that you could make the case that Jets are as hot as anyone. I mean, really, are those 2 wins less impressive than Green Bay's 2 wins? So other than the fact that Aaron Rodgers looks so good aesthetically, which isn't what this game's about, but just, the 5 incompletions and so many cool plays, is you could say, and let me ask you, what's more impressive, what the Jets did or what Green Bay did? And really, if you think about it, it's going to be a close answer either way, right?
Definitely, I think for the body of work for 2 games, what Green Bay's done is way more impressive.
Way more.
Way more.
Philly was on the 30-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
with 35 seconds left. They get one or two 15-yard completions, and Green Bay's out.
True. And if Caldwell doesn't, for Indianapolis, doesn't decide to kick
All right,
a
so you
field
got
goal.
two. So you got two close games against the Colts and Philly, which are pretty reasonably even teams. Now you've got the Pats that were the prohibitive favorite. I mean, as a Pittsburgh fan, I was begging the Jets to win. I didn't want to go to Foxborough or go up to New England. No way. So as a 9-point dog to win the game by, what did they end up winning by?
7 was the final.
All right, so 7. So now it's a 16 points away from the spread. And then now you've got Green Bay that was borderline pick 'em. They win the game going away, but by about the same amount. Are you really telling me that which part of that is more impressive?
Well, but you got to factor in there's two teams involved. A lot of people, and there's been a lot of sentiment.
Two teams involved with what?
You're looking at it only from the Jets
I'm
standpoint.
saying the reason you can make the case why this line's 3 or now moving towards 3.5 is because the Jets have looked as impressive as any team.
They looked as impressive. I still think they didn't look as impressive as Green Bay, but we got to go back to Pittsburgh. A lot of people said that Baltimore got screwed on calls in that game. There's been a lot of talk about it this week, that every break in the game, every questionable call went the Steelers' way on
the fumble when the ball sits there for 40 seconds just a touchdown.
But it was the right call. The only thing that you've seen it happen.
But here's the question, and this is off the handicapping, but I just can't. If it was the right call, why didn't anyone react to the ball?
I can't answer that to you.
I mean, literally, it sat there for like a 20 count or, an 8 count.
It seemed like an eternity as it was sitting there, yes. And the thing of it is that if one referee would have blew the whistle, the play was dead.
But
no
regardless,
matter what happened.
what I'm saying is when you look at that and you look at Pittsburgh fumble, again, Mendenhall's fumbled once prior to that this entire year. When you get a fumble and you get 2 touchdowns off of turnovers, inside the one's returned for a touchdown without even anyone trying to tackle them, it's hard to say that Baltimore, if anything, the fact that Pittsburgh won that game still down 14-3 at half speaks to the fact that if they play that game 10 times, Pittsburgh wins 7 or 8.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you what you listen to the talk shows, and even in our own forums on Saturday, the forums were blowing up with everybody, crying foul for the Ravens. The holding call on, Ray Lewis.
So what's the handicapping effect of this? So you're saying that the handicappers are saying that Pittsburgh got lucky, and thus and maybe this is a dual point. Pittsburgh got lucky to win, and I don't agree with that, but let's say that's the point. And then number 2, they say the Jets have looked as impressive as anyone. This game should be an even game.
If you ask me why the line is where it's at, that is the only case I can make for you, is that the public perception is Pittsburgh didn't look dominating in their win against Baltimore. And of course, because the Jets beat what everybody had penciled in, it not only is the Super Bowl team, but the Super Bowl winner.
And the Jets won in Pittsburgh just recently.
And the Jets won in Pittsburgh.
I agree, and to me, that's the anatomy of a value play. You make a good point. If a line is a place that you can't explain it, the exercise that we just went through, explain the line that it's not crazy, then if we couldn't, then that's the anatomy of a trap game. As in, there's no reason for this line to be this. They want you to play this. We just made and you just made a number of good cases why this line is appropriate to some. And as we said, Jets have looked impressive. Pittsburgh got some calls that seemingly to their favor. Jets just beat them. This is a toss-up game with home field. I can agree with that. It looks that way. I think all of that's deceiving, and that's why there's great value on Pittsburgh. Let me make my official projection right now. Pittsburgh wins this game, and they win it a little bit more low scoring. Now, we're going to do a special video. I love Pittsburgh. If I could get them 3-1-10, I'd love it. I'm probably not going to be able to get that. I'm still going to be playing them. I love Pittsburgh here. I wish I had 3-1-10. I think Pittsburgh's a significantly better team, and that we can explain the Jets win a couple of weeks ago very easily. And here's where I think the real value is Pittsburgh only gets beat by one type of team, typically, a team with a great quarterback. And when you look at this season, Brady beat them. Breeze beat them. It's hard to really look at that Baltimore game because Big Ben was out, and Pittsburgh almost won that first game anyway. And now what you have is the Jets game is the one aberration, kick return for a touchdown, all the injuries out, the injuries and the fact that Pittsburgh was down on the 10-yard line with 2 cracks to even win the game still.
If you're a Jet backer, 2 things that you got to be concerned about. One is, I know they're playing to go to the Super Bowl, and you always tell me, oh, your teams can't come out flat for a game like this. But because of all of the circus surrounding New England and the Jets, Belichick and Rex Ryan, can this team match that intensity that they had last week?
Third road game.
Not only is it the 3rd road game, it's their 5th road game in the last 6.
Now, to the Jets' favor, they've played well on the road. But I think when you add in the emotion, I mean, it's almost like the fact that Jets aren't talking this week makes you wonder if that's a sign of them not caring as much. They were yapping. I mean, if you're yapping against the Colts, Peyton Manning is a class act. Mm-hmm. If you're yapping against them, you're not yapping. Remember, I got to tell you, Pittsburgh has had a reputation as a cheap shot team, and I've never, again, I'm a homer to some degree, but that the lineman picking that guy off, the 2 times that he picking guys off the pile, it's 3 seconds after the whistle. He's 330 pounds. He's getting a running start and knocking people out. I mean, they certainly, if the Jets wanted to say, well, the Steelers are bullies and we're going to bully them back, we've already bloodied their mouths once, we're going to do it again. The fact that you're not hearing any of that makes me wonder if they're just emotionally spent.
They could be, but one point, the 2 games that you said that they were running their mouth, Rex Ryan, the thing that he kept saying about, Peyton Manning is, that was his nemesis. He was taking it personally.
But wait, hold on a second. The Steelers, don't forget, in 2008, who was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens?
Rex Ryan.
Steelers beat him there.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to talk about the fact that he's lost 3, this is going to be his 3rd straight championship game that he's coaching in, and that one of them he got knocked out by the Colts. So why wouldn't he have the Steelers beat the heck out of the Ravens, from 2005 on. Why wouldn't he have an agenda there?
There's a good point, but for this year, he beat them. So in
a meaningless game for Pittsburgh.
It wasn't meaningless.
Pittsburgh's the number 2 seed. The Jets are the number 6. Yeah. So what was accomplished by that win?
Nothing, as it turned out, but it could have been.
He beat the Patriots early in the year. He did not care about the pay. I'm making your point, which is emotionally this team says, hey, let's catch our breath. And it seems like they thrive on emotion, which I think helps Pittsburgh here.
Can't disagree.
All right, we're going to do a video and talk specifically about the over and under elements. My best bet is Pittsburgh here. Remember, you can join the conversation in the comments section. And, we got a coupon.
Got a coupon.
Give it real quick.
It's championship weekend, so we're going to make the coupon CHAMP, all one word, number 10. CHAMP, number 10.
CHAMP10.
You got it.
And you go to pregamepros.com. We got a lot of hot handicappers. We got some of the best NFL guys. They're red hot in the playoffs, and they've got a good historical record. And you get $10 off anything you buy.
You got it.
All right. Talk to you soon.